Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Two Worlds Collide, where two completely different lives come together and create something special. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I'm John, and this is my wife, Yvette.
All right. Hey, everybody. So, my name's Yvette, and the whole purpose of this podcast is to really spread awareness and just show others that there's hope after prison. We are two completely different lives. We came together definitely by fate, I would say. But it's something that we weren't really supposed to meet or was supposed to happen. But we did come together. We were able to overcome a lot together as a couple. And the purpose of this podcast is really just to, show others that are out there that, not all people in prison are bad people. There is hope for people who are convicted felons and they're looking to change their life around. And, there's hope for families with people who are incarcerated and just, we just want to go through life and all the obstacles that it comes with because it's definitely not an easy road, but definitely when you find that right person, it is very much so worth it, especially if you have family members who are incarcerated, just to show that there is hope for them. And, we just want to take you along the journey of, showing you guys, what it's like life after prison as a prison wife and ex-convict, and really show like just our business journey, opening a business, graduating with my master's, our fertility journey, all our friends and family that have been there to support us on this journey. And, we got some pretty cool special guests that will be coming in the next few weeks. And we just really want to take everybody on this journey with us. So we definitely hope you're here for the long run because we are too, and we're super excited to share our story and hopefully to inspire some people out there and not get down by the stigma that people have put on those and their families who've been incarcerated. So with that being said, everyone, we're going to just give a little background of each other, our individual selves, who we are, where we came from, and how everything led up to who we are and how we are as a married couple and how we got together. So I hope you guys enjoy.
So, let me give you guys a little bit about my background. I was born in San Jose, California. My family and I moved to Fresno in the mid 90s. I was raised by a single parent, which is my mother, with the assistance of my grandmother, who played a big part of my life. I have two older sisters and two younger brothers, so I'm the middle child. I grew up in the rough areas of Fresno. For the most part, I felt like I was a good kid at home, and I did, I played sports. But when I was at school and out on the streets, running around my friends, I was a whole different person. You know, causing all kind of trouble, up to no good. And started experimenting with alcohol, smoking weed. Just causing all kind of trouble. And I enjoyed the adrenaline rush and being with my boys every day, hanging out, which eventually led me to join the neighborhood gang. It wasn't a bad thing or a good thing. I want to say, I did learn a lot of good things out of it, but I also did learn a lot of things that were negative, you can say, and helped me grow. Or I look back now and I see where some things that were wrong, which I did learn from. Also, eventually led me going to juvenile hall, California Youth Authority, and going to prison a few times. And, you know, I'm far from perfect, but I know I'm a better person today than I was back then. And, I look forward to sharing my story with you guys and inspiring everybody to change and not giving up on love and hope, and also as well as chasing your dreams. I'm gonna hand it over to Yvette and let her give you guys a little bit more about herself and her background.
So a little bit about myself now. I was born in Reedley, California, and we moved around a few times within the small towns that were right near Reedley. I ended up in Kingsburg by the age of 10, and I've pretty much been in Kingsburg my entire life. Definitely a small town girl. I was always involved in sports. I'm a family of four. I happen to be the baby of the family, but definitely not babied. So, um, always involved in sports, volleyball, softball was my that was my thing. Definitely love playing any sport I can get my hands on, and I definitely stayed in school, graduated, and try to stay out of trouble as much as possible. When I got to high school, I met what I thought was my high school sweetheart, turned out not to be, and had my daughter by the time my early 20s, and went to school, worked full time, graduated with my bachelor's, graduated with my associates, and now I'm on my way to graduating with my master's. So I can't wait for that. I'm super excited. And in the midst of that, I met some people along the way, and you're probably thinking like, how the heck did you two end up together? But that's the cool part about our stories and how our lives crossed, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. So, not a whole lot to me. Definitely a small town girl. Kept those vibes very. Try to keep those vibes very very, very quiet. But here we are. And I can't wait to go over and tell you guys how we met. It's definitely a wild ride. So I hope you guys tune in and enjoy. So I know you guys are probably wondering, like, the lake is behind us. And why are we out here? It's because we are literally so busy as a married couple, between both of our jobs and our kids and everything in between. We are definitely always on the go. That's one thing about us is we rarely have a break, but also, Johnny does like to be outdoors, and we thought no better way other than to be here out on the lake. He loves to fish, but I know the $1,000,000 question is how we met. Do you want to tell him how we met?
Um, yeah.
How did we meet?
I got a surprise letter one day. That's how we met.
A surprise letter.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell you guys the infamous letter, which Johnny still has tucked away today. He was actually serving some time with a mutual person, and that mutual person came home. I happened to be in the vicinity of that person while Johnny had called. Um, and that person had kind of just made up quite a few lies as far as like, oh, I can't even be Johnny's friend when you're around. I was getting accused of talking to Johnny when I really wasn't. Um, so of course, past abusive relationship, just trying to manipulate situations. So of course, me being in my healing girl era, I was like, oh my god, Johnny. I wrote Johnny a letter, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, you can't even be friends with this person. I won't say their name, but this person, because I'm always around. So I felt super bad for Johnny because I don't know what it's personally like, but from the outside in, I know, having a support system is super important. So I just really wanted to apologize to him. Well, I happened to do this while I was intoxicated one night with my best friend at the time. We were out, and she basically egged me on to send this letter out to him, and I had no idea. So one random night, I was actually in the drive-through line at Taco Bell, and getting my dad some Taco Bell for the night. And I get this phone call, and I'm just like, "Who the heck is this?" And so I answered it, and it is Johnny. And he's reading this letter to me, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cringe. I cannot believe I wrote this. This is so embarrassing. And like, my first instinct was to just be like, badmouth that person. But, me and Johnny cleared the air, and he was just like, hey, he was like, do you mind if I call you from, time to time? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. And next thing next thing you guys know, um, here me and Johnny are spending a lot of time together over the phone. At that time when we reached out to each other, We didn't have video visits yet. It was just literally paper and pen, and in-person visits and those phone calls. So we didn't have that privilege of just immediately, you know, getting those video visits in like we do nowadays, or I should say you guys do nowadays. Um, but we're super thankful that we were both able to communicate where we were at in life together, and just, you know, set those boundaries with each other as far as what we were looking for, what we wanted. Um, I remember when he was just like, "You're gonna be my wife." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not." but look at here we are now. Clearly that wasn't the end story to that. So, and that all really started by the visiting form that he sent out to me. Aside from the letter, it was the visiting form next, definitely. So what did you feel when you sent that visiting form out?
I've had all kind of different emotions: nervous, excited, a little bit slight doubt. You know, even though we were talking every day, having good conversations at hours at a time. There's always that slight of doubt. Been failed so many times in the past. So it's like, what's gonna really? I mean, obviously, I felt like you stood out already, like your genuine side and the deep conversations we would have. But when you have so much, I guess, crazy to say, like,
Trust issues.
yeah, trust issues. Like there's always that slightness back there, like, it's probably full of shit. It's not gonna come through. But you did. You did come through. You did surprise me. I didn't know she was coming. Didn't even find out till the morning she was coming. I had called to check up on her one morning, tell her good morning, and it was like, "Oh, I'm here. I'm about to do a walk-in visit," which got me, to be honest, gave me some butterflies. Got me a little nervous. I wish I would knew in advance, though. You know, um, one, I wish I would have had a fresh haircut. I mean, my hair wasn't like bummy-ish or nothing at the time, but still, I wanted to look very,
Presentable.
yes, of course. I wanted to walk in there and just have her jaw drop.
And it
but
did. I